Hello, it's Chris. Happy December 2025, and this is the release video for Pimiga 5. We're going to go over the basics of what Pimiga is if you're a new user. If you're a returning user to Pimiga, welcome back for the 5th and final version of Pimiga. This version supports everything on the Raspberry Pi 4 and 5 series. That includes the 400, 500, and the 500 Plus. Also, it boots on Intel, Apple Intel, or AMD UEFI PCs with an Intel graphics chip. I just want to show you briefly how to write the image, copy your kickstart ROM, and how to obtain a kickstart ROM if you do not own one. Pimiga doesn't come with any kickstart ROM, so it won't work unless you provide your kickstart ROM. So it's provided as non-working and you make it work by putting your own. So let's get to the writing process and then we'll show you what it's all about. Go to AmigaForever.com. You can choose an edition. The value edition, 20 bucks. Plus edition, 40 bucks. Premium edition, too much, or more options. So you can just do a floppy drive and hard disk image pack for 10 bucks. First time customer, whatever you want. Upgrades, lost, whatever. Windows, Mac OS, Linux. Also, you used to be able to go to the Google Play Amiga Forever Essentials, and it was like $2, but I don't think they have that anymore. This is how we write the image for Pimiga, whether it's ARM or Intel. Insert a SD card, USB stick, anything you have on a minimum of a 64 gig card. The manufacturer of the card depends on the amount of free space you have, so I use SD card formatter from sdcard.org. And you can see my cheap Walmart brand card is reporting 57.95 gigs. We'll just give that a quick, how you doing? All right. Now we're going to open up Raspberry Pi Imager, and Raspberry Pi Imager has changed. If you have an old version, that's great. This is the latest version 202 as of December 2025, and what you're going to do is scroll all the way down to the bottom to no filtering. Click Next. Again, scroll all the way down to the bottom to Use Custom. Now you can browse to either the zip file if you have a large enough card or just the image itself. Since I've already unpacked it, we're going to use the image. This is for ARM. Choose Next, highlight your disk and say Next. Review your choices and choose Write. It automatically says, hey, are you sure? I understand. And now it will begin to write. Depending on the manufacturer and the speed of your card and your writer is how long it will take. It usually takes about 7 to 10 minutes on a normal size card. Once this is completed, it will go through a verification stage. You do not have to verify it unless you're extremely bored. Open up Etcher, choose Flash from File, browse to either the Intel or ARM. They're both the same procedure. We're going to do ARM for this one. Choose your drive to flash to. Yours will be different from mine. And choose Flash. It will then start writing the image, and it will give you an actual time that it's going to take. So this one's going to take about 13 to 14 minutes because this is a crappy card. Faster cards, of course, will be faster. This also will do a verification step, which you do not need to complete, but if you really feel like you have to, go ahead. Once this is complete, we're going to eject the card and reinsert it. I'm going to eject my card, and I'm going to plug it back in. You will get a message on your screen. You need to format this drive. Don't do that. Go to your machine, go to that drive. You're going to see here a folder called bootfs. Double-click it. Inside you'll see a folder called Kick, and right as the instructions in the file says, you need to copy your 1200 3.1 kickstart, naming it kick.rom, which I'll do right here because I have my kickstart ROMs available. 1, 2, buckle my shoe, eject the card, put it in your computer, and you're ready to go. So we have Pimiga running on the Raspberry Pi 4. This is a custom case with etched glass, 4 GB. This is a Raspberry Pi 5 in the Iron 5 Mini. This is a 4 GB. And we have an 8 GB D-Step CPU. What is a D-Step CPU? The original Raspberry Pis were called a C-step CPU. There was a later, in late 2025, mid to late 2025, cost reduction process with the Raspberry Pi company where they introduced a cost-reduced CPU, which was not compatible with anything. We have Pimiga running on that also. So it's universal. You don't have to worry about what type of Raspberry Pi you have. It also, we're going to be showing the 500, and in the art contest we showed the 400 and 500. This is the 500 plus. This video is also broken down into chapters, so feel free. There's timeline links below in the extended description, along with the download location. If you want to kick off your download, it is a BitTorrent, a version 2-bit torrent, so you will need a qBit torrent client that's relatively new. I don't distribute it any other way, and it is totally free. I don't charge. There's no website selling this, and if there is, they stole it and they're doing it without my permission illegally. Pimiga is a registered trademark, and it's all legit. Paid a lot of money for that trademark. Now, if you've never used Pimiga before, it comes preloaded with a bunch of cool music. The dock bar at the bottom, while it seems like it's a modern OS, this OS is 35 plus years old now. This is a power button. If you click this on a Raspberry Pi, it instantly shuts it down. This is called iDemo. It's the iGame WHD loader for demos. This one is called iGame. It is the WHD load or hard drive installed games. Currently, the demos have 991 watchable demos, and you can click on favorites and see some of the best ones that I've chosen. iGame this year has 4,201 games included. You can search at the top, cannon fodder, you want to run something, double click it, it instantly starts. When you're ready to quit, press F10 and you're returned to the main window. Single click on all of the dock icons, okay? Over Eagle Player, 16,000 music mods. You can scroll through this list and go up, and you'll see authors, a bunch, and then you'll see A through Z, also chip tunes, the DJ Collins and the CD32, game music, groups. So that's just some of the thousands of music mods that are on here. I usually just leave it in DJ Collins and then press the power button when you're done. This is the MPEG player. This is the MP3 player. This is Shapeshifter. It's a Macintosh emulator that you can just hit start. It turns your machine into a Mac OS 8.1 68040 with MMU, tons of RAM, networking, and sound, where you can play Wolfenstein or any other program. I just happen to have Wolfenstein sitting here. Let's fire it up. Smooth as butter. When you're done, press escape, file, quit. You don't have to save it. When you're done with that, shut it down. You're instantly returned back to Pimiga. This is a preference for commodities. Think of it as your task manager on Amiga. This is Simple Find. It's a file finder. This is your mounter if you want to mount an ADF, ISO, HDF, or cancel. This, of course, is the shell, followed by the file manager directory opus, where all of the icons that you will be able to see are labeled for which drive is what. Also included are all of the Pimiga 5 art contest creations with all of their files. Finally, SMB mounter from Rob Cranley. This is an SMB1 GUI file mounter. You can edit my example to show how to connect to your Windows or Mac network. You do have to turn on SMB1. Google that. Followed by an archive extractor, Voodoo X. It unpacks pretty much anything. The Amiga Eyebrows demo browser of Eyebrows 3.0. Also, we have Chrome and Firefox on what is called Host Run from Mr. Midwin himself, which pulls Linux apps through the Amiga planar graphics system, and you can get online and go to WHD load and look at what's available or watch YouTube videos or whatever you want to do. It's a modern web browser that's pulled through Linux for the Amiga. So that's the dock bar. But there's so much more to this operating system than meets the eye. You have various hard drives here on the left-hand side of your screen, starting with the RAM disk. Of course, we all know the RAM disk. The system drive is the main boot drive, but it also houses most of the programs. The audio has all of your music mods, your Octameds, everything you want. There's also coding if you feel like programming some stuff. There's tons of emulators from ScumVM, which is a PC port game thing if you want to play The Secret of Monkey Island or some PC games. There's about 20 of them on there. You also have Sinclair 2000 arcade ROMs if you wanted to browse through those. So if you wanted to play Zaxxon, you could play Zaxxon, and you could play the old arcade game Zaxxon. How do I fire? Oh, control. That's MAME, or Multiple Arcade Machine Emulator. There's also all the Neo Geo games you could ever want to play, from Metal Slug to everything with their cover art. If you wanted to be an Atari, we have two Atari. We have ST on Amiga and Hutari. We also have Magic 64 and Vice. We also have PC Task. I think it has a version of Windows on it. I don't have sound, so I gotta uncheck sound and then start. And there's stuff on here, and I don't have a sound set up on it, so if you can figure that out, great. Amstrad, Frodo is another Commodore 64 emulator, Game Boy, MSX, 2MSX, a PlayStation emulator, and many more. That's just the emulator side. There's also fractals, which are your Mandelbrot mathematical calculations of art. That's what I call them. Graphics programs from AdPro, Forge. We have Lightwave, DPaint 4, DPaint 5, Cinema 4D, Brilliance, Perfect Paint, Pixel Pro, Lightwave 3D, and many more. Lightwave 3D does fully function when you choose Assign Lightwave, and then you can run Lightwave with a floating point. It works perfect. Babylon 5 station. And we'll just press F9, and this is a stock clock Raspberry Pi 5. Ta-da! There you go. There's a 24-bit version of it. I guess I should have turned it down. So, that's Lightwave. It took 70 seconds to do that one. When you're done, when you're done, you can quit Lightwave and go watch a Hold and Modify video. Learn how to use it. Okay, that's a bunch of graphic stuff in here. The host run fun is where the pull-through is. I have some icons for GIMP and Chrome and Firefox and a terminal so you can run Linux commands through the Pimiga side in LibreOffice, which is not installed, but their icons are there for you to play with and learn it. The internet icons are all of the stuff for the internet, including Term, which allows you here on the dock bar. I forgot about that. If you open Term, it allows you to dial bulletin board systems over TCP/IP. Here's my BBS that's running on my Amiga 2000 in the other room, and you can call either my BBS or other BBSs around the world. And you can see that my screen is off, but you can call BBSs. And that's part of the internet in Term 4.8. There's also Eyebrows, VNC, you can remote desktop. There's some TCP/IP stacks that you don't need. There's also an older version of AWeb, MFTP, the Amiga Trade Center, and Wookiee Chat. Locales, of course, languages. My files is where some downloads go. Prefs are prefs. That's where you set different preferences. Storage has some more things in there. That's basic, standard Amiga stuff, as well as system. There is a couple different programs in here that have been added to help with emulation. Temp is, of course, temp. Tools are more tools from 3.9 and various other things. Workbench Startup is where the programs run. There's a bunch of disabled ones you could put in here for added features if you want. You may have various luck with them. Go to Programs, and there are a boatload of programs. Word processors, screen grabbers, directory opuses, GUIs, benchmark tools, everything you'd want. That's the system drive. Demos is the next drive, which is the executable or exe versions of demos from groups. They're organized alphabetically top to bottom by group. Also revision demo party, you can watch revision 2023 videos like Neo Calora. So that's the executable versions of demos. So the WHD load folder is for the iDemo. You don't have to dig through that. Everything you wanted, every demo that's possible to run, 68060s and all that stuff. That is also an icon for iDemo here because people have a habit of just clicking hard drives. Games is your ported games like Doom, Quake, Blood, Cannonball Run, Time Gal, Z-Nodes, Turrican 2, stuff like that. WHD load here is a target for iGame. That's why I put iGame underneath. The work drive is where the graphics, books, and pictures and stuff are, and also the videos. If you want to watch Rammstein, you can watch Rammstein in the window, or you can watch it full screen. There's tons of stuff to dig around on. If you want to switch backdrops, you can also go up here and switch backdrops to various themes, including like different Commodore ones, or nature, or mix it up a little bit, Mr. T, or just plain colors, purple, or back to Pimiga. The choice is yours. There's about 600 backdrops that are automatic. If you don't want the automatic backdrops and set your own, you will have to delete all the preference files, which I highly recommend you don't do. Just move them somewhere else. That is the Raspberry Pi. And now we're going to go to the Intel and the Apple side. It's an Intel Mac. I have the Intel version. I'm going to plug into a USB mounter. There is a hard drive with Mac OS on this, but what you would do is when we plug this in, this should kick on, and I'm going to hold the Alt key down. Sometimes you got to do this a couple times on an Apple product. And now you'll see this, which is EFI boot. Move your arrow on your cursor or your keyboard and press enter. And then you'll get the normal loader. Once you see this, you're usually okay. My kickstart ROMs have already been copied based on our burn process earlier. So everything is automatic. It's the same exact thing. Listen to music. Watch a video. Play a game. Watch a demo. Be a Mac. On a Mac. Running Linux. Emulating a Pimiga. Running a Mac. Plenty of fun games on here too. When you're done, return. On this version of Intel, this applies to PC or Macs. When you quit, you are returned to an XFCE desktop with a little CPU information here. This is by default running in what is called on-demand governor. Now, on your desktop, there's a thing called Super Pursuit Mode, like Knight Rider. Double click on it and you're prompted for a password. That password is Pimiga, P-I-M-I-G-A. Boop. Now, it throws your machine into turbo, all cores, and now I run it, your Mac's clocked. That's kind of like pushing the envelope. Depending on how many CPUs you have, is how many it's going to do. Also, on the Intel version, you get Amiga Live, which allows you to play multiplayer games with other Amiga users over the internet and broadcast your video of you playing your games multiplayer to the Amiga Live YouTube channel. Just change your name from Pooh. Choose your zone from around the world, from Europe, United Kingdom, Netherlands, Sweden, Greece, Australia, Development, Denver, or New York. Give yourself a name. Mine's Pooh. And then choose a game out of here and press start. You can. Sometimes when you launch games, it's going to yell about the temporary file is full. It's in a menu option up here that you have to go through and clear out. That's Amiga Live. But we're here for Pimiga 5. There are no other emulated systems included with this to keep the image small for maximum download enjoyment. But press F12, choose quit, and then you can choose the power button up here and shut your Intel machine down. This will work on your laptop. This will work on your little mini PC. This is an Intel NUC. you do have to turn off secure boot on your device. If you have an operating system on your device and you're running off of a USB drive, turn off secure boot so you can boot from this, and then turn on secure boot to return to your operating system. And this works the same. This is the same exact card. I'm going to use the same exact HDMI keyboard and mouse. So F10 enter boot mode, Debian. There we go. And now we're booting off of the Intel NUC on the same USB stick that we just were booting off of. This has a different graphics driver. The Mac had an AMD graphics card. This has an Intel graphics card. Now this is a Core i3 4-core processor at the speed of molasses. This is a very old Intel NUC i3, but it still runs Pimiga just fine. And again, same thing. Jam out to some tunes. Watch a movie. Play some music mods. Watch a demo. Be a Mac. Have some fun. Play some games. Yourmom.com. That's the PCs. That's the Pis. That is Pimiga 5. That's the last release of Pimiga. So I hope you enjoy it, and I hope no other hardware ever comes out, because I am checking out of the game after 7 releases of this, and I hope it finds you well. This is totally free. You don't have to pay me a daggone thing. Just buy your Kickstart ROMs, use it with your own Kickstart ROMs, or purchase new ones. So that's it for Pimiga 5 Christmas 2025. I hope you have a great holiday. I hope you enjoy this. If you require additional assistance or you're having some problems, if you read the README or the extended description of this video right down here in the old chatter box, you can see that there's a Discord server where you can click on, and that's kind of like a modern day chat group. If you don't know what Discord is, it's a big chat room and the Pimiga server, and we're all there, and we have various discussions for everything, for all sorts of different hardware, and we can help you out and get you squared away if you're having any issues or questions. Please be aware there is a README file here on the Pimiga desktop. There is also a README file on your Linux desktop that contains all the questions and answers that I've covered in this video, and then some. So that's all I got for this one. Thank you so much for enjoying this over all the years that we've done this, and I hope it finds you well. Have a great holiday. Merry Christmas. Happy holidays.
What do you know from funny, you bastard?